Hello Internet, my name is Ace and today we are going to be drawing Mickey Mouse from the 1950s. So this is part of a series I've been doing with Mickey where I've been going through the different decades and drawing Mickey Mouse. So a lot of the stuff, shorts and stuff died off in the 1950s with Mickey, but the Mickey Mouse Club kind of started, so that's what we're going to focus on. The kind of Mickey Mouse Club. Mickey. And so the 50s was when Disneyland opened and lots of great stuff for the Walt Disney Company. Right, so we're going to start with a circle, and as I have done with the rest of the videos, 20s, 30s and 40s, let's kind of split these circles into quarters. And if I was drawing normally by myself, I wouldn't do this, but it's going to make it a little bit simpler for yourselves to kind of follow along with what I'm saying. So we'll split that roughly into quarters. Again, don't worry too much about how close you've got, because all these illustrations were done back in the day. There was no computer things involved. It was all hand done, and there was mistakes. Well, not mistakes. There was different intricacies, I guess you'd say, is a better way of putting it, depending which artist did it, and lots of things like that. There was a lot more flexibility back then. Staying on model was a thing, but not as much as later on. Okay, so this line here is kind of signifying the kind of center of Mickey's face. Now, the Mickey that we're drawing now is kind of like from an advert, like a flyer from the time of the Mickey Mouse Club. So let's figure out the angle of his muzzle. So he's going to be facing this way, obviously, because we've got the directional line. So we're going to stick the muzzle in at a shape, an angle, something like that. And it's going to go just above this halfway line. Like hardly above, but just above. Right, so let's bring this round here. So we're just going to be drawing an oval, okay? So let's slap that in there like that. So essentially all we've got there is an oval. Let's have a look. Just got this shape here. If you want to draw it quick, just scribble it like that. That's fine. So we're just worrying about the construction at the moment. We're not worrying too much about the actual final lines and things like that. We'll do that later. So Mickey's nose on this one is actually more of a circle, which generally what is wrong with me today? Generally Mickey's nose is more of like this kind of shape, not as big as that, but this time it is actually more of a circle. So if we just stick a circle in here, and it's going to touch this circle that we originally guided out for his head, and the height of it's going to go to maybe 2/3 of the way up the next segment. Stick out a little bit from the, there we go, that kind of thing. Again, don't worry about how neat you are, it's not important. And then add a little highlight on, like so, like this. This is where the light's hitting it, so I'm just going to quickly scribble this in. What I'll do is at the end I will do a quick inking of the pictures, so you can kind of see what they'll look like finished. Right, so with this muzzle, obviously we're going to attach a smile on there, and for this we're going to aim for around here, this point here, which is this kind of segment here, like so. So we're going to aim for about there. Alright, so let's just, all we're doing is we're just finding an ice. I'm not sure what is wrong with my voice today, but speaking is not high on my brain's priority list. So it's just an arc that's just going to follow in nicely and lead into here. Alright? Now, the circle that we originally started with here, you can see that this nose touches. Now, this was probably an intentional thing by the designer because he wanted this angle, wanted this size nose. But if you have things touching like this, it kind of gets a bit confusing. Your eye doesn't know where to look, and your eyes kind of running around all over the place. You get like tangents and things like this. So what the artist has done has brought this in slightly to around here like this. So we are, in fact, I'll just soften this so you can see. So this is actually coming in a little bit like this. So there is actually a little gap between this nose, which is not a perfect circle. I mean, it does come down a little bit like this. But the most important thing is that this cuts in. Right, so let's worry about the bottom of the mouth. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go through here with a bit of a line, like so. Like this. Now, the original one is more flat like this, and there's a slight bend like that. But I kind of like add in like a elongated S in, just to push that out a little bit more. You don't need to do that, but I just prefer the aesthetic of it. Now, with the mouth, we're going to come down and round, and we're going to come very slightly off the original circle. Just very slightly like this. Like so. So we're just coming off like that. We darken this. Then instead of having a tongue like that, it's just a little line like that. There we go. Now the bottom lip, this part here, is going to be fairly thin here, but then it's going to thicken out as it gets closer to us, as it would in reality. So we've got this kind of look to it. And it's just tucking in slightly. In fact, it might be nice to just, we've got the thing here, just add a slight little connector like this. As you can see here, it bends back a little bit. Just these little intricacies like this, they really bring a piece together and add a bit more realism to the piece. So kind of about just under halfway up this middle section here, we're going to cut through just slightly, and we're going to come round, and we're almost going to follow this line here, but we're just going to obviously make it a bit more curvy. Just cut into it very slightly, and then back round, like so. So you've got this kind of angle, which is slightly different from some of the previous Mickeys that we've drawn. Right, okay, so we've got this part here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to come out, and we're going to kind of cut this little triangle off like this. So it's maybe a third of the actual shape, but don't make it a straight line. Give it a nice curve, because where we're aiming for is we're aiming to hit around here. So this is going to be the widest point of the design, like that. Then it's going to curve back up around, and it's going to come and hit around a third of the way up along the actual center line. So it's not like a big arc like this. It's quite a flat arc, which you'll see as I join it. It's going to cut through just under halfway, like this, and then flatten out and then join. There we go. So this is the kind of shape that we've got. Then we're just going to come off from this one, and we're just going to go and hit around a quarter of the way along this section like this. Just like so. And make sure you've got a bend at the top like this. Don't just go into it like that. Everything wants to feel like it's a part of the same that is attached to this ball. Okay. Now Mickey, for maybe the first time, possibly the first time, had eyebrows, and he had it in a couple of shorts during the 50s. Actually, he had these eyebrows. Now they're going to fall on this kind of cross here, and they're just going to be like little gummy bears, little jelly beans. Sorry, very small little objects like that. Okay, and then the other one is going to come at an angle like that. So just thicken it up a little bit. Now this one is going to be smaller because it's further away in space. Only slightly smaller though, because obviously there's not a lot of distance between there and there. Now let's worry about the eye. So the eye line is going to fall. Well, first of all, let's come up with a place for this to finish. So let's thicken this up a little bit, like so. And then coming off there, we're going to add one of those little creases that we had, I think, in Mickey and the Beanstalk. That was the first time we drew that, which was last week, which was during the 40s. Right, so we've got these. We just need to add the eyes and the ears now. Okay, so let me just give this a quick colour in, because I can't stand it when there's big areas of black that are not coloured in. There we go. It already looks a bit more like Mickey. So the eyes are going to be just ovals like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to just shy of the centre line. So around this area like this. Then we're going to cut through this next one, and we're going to hit about, I'd say, 2/3 of the way up of this square here. So we're gonna aim for it about there somewhere. This is going to be the height, and it's going to go back again, maybe 2/3. So this is what we're aiming for. So we're going up and round like so. Then we're going to come down, and I really love this drawing because it doesn't actually like connect down there. What happens is it comes round and it just leaves it slightly short. It's a black and white just ink drawing, just pen and ink, like a quill pen or something. Actually, it looks like it was done with a brush rather than a pen. So there we go, and just thicken up slightly the kind of top of his eyes, because you really want to draw accent into Mickey's eyes, because all the expression of a character is in the eyes. And we're just going to add a couple of circles, well, one circle, not a couple, in here like so. There we go. And the next one, again, instead of being a full oval like this, it's going to come pretty much touch the what's it called, the center line, and it's going to come to about this line, come up, round, nearly touch the top here, but not quite, and then come down just this far. Now this looks great, just really kind of implying that there's an eye there. That stuff I just really love. You don't get to see too much of that kind of pen and ink or brush and ink stuff nowadays. Well, look at that. It's implied. You know that there's a line here and a line here, but you don't need to draw it because it's, like I said, it's implied. So the ears now. This one at the back is going to attach. They're actually fairly big ears. They're going to attach to pretty much this point here, the center point on the vertical. Okay, and the actual width itself that they're going to come out is probably like half the size of the circle, I'd say, maybe even slightly more. So the actual height is going to come slightly above this line here. So let's aim for somewhere like that. And it's just going to tuck in slightly. Like a lot of the times with Mickey, his ears come in quite a bit. Very occasionally you'll get it so it touches, but this is just going to come in slightly, just enough so it feels like it's kind of grounded. So let's do this. Now, this is not like a perfect circle by any amount. And how far is this going to come down? Maybe to about here. So halfway, maybe a third of the way down. So let's make sure this is really defined here. Let's come in. And let's hit around there. So it's not a perfect circle at all, but that's a good thing. It's got a lot more life and character by being this kind of shape. So here is one of the ears, and then let's move. In fact, it might be best for me to move Mickey down a little bit, and let's worry about the next one. Now, the next one, even though it's attached to a circle like this, you would assume it would be on this kind of angle, but it's not. It's like it's almost like just a horizontal oval that's kind of just connected, just touching. Almost like it's not actually a part of the image. Now, how high is this one going to come up? It's going to cut in more into the head, and it's going to come not as high up, so it's not going to be half. So let's kind of measure roughly where half is. Somewhere like this. It's going to maybe come to about here. All right. Now let's draw this line across so we can visualize roughly where it's going to fall. So we're going to come off here. So this is the center line. The widest point is going to be the center here, and the widest point of the back is, if that's another quarter added on, which is about that, it's going to come in. So it's going to be about here. Okay, so let me just soften this slightly. Sorry. There we go. So we're going to come round like so. We're going to really carve into this. And how low is it going to come down? Okay, so it's just going to come, if we're looking at this, it's just going to come just above halfway. So it's going to be around this area, like so. Then it's going to come up, hit that point there that we was trying to hit, come round, hit the top point, like so. Can maybe get a nicer shape. Come round, hit the width here. So there we go. Let me just soften a couple of these parts here, like so. So this is going to be the shape we're looking for. Okay, so this is Mickey Mouse from the actual clubhouse. Now, it might actually be cool for us to draw Mickey in the clubhouse again. Let's just zoom out a little bit. Mickey from the clubhouse, but the actual like the logo struck title card for the Mickey Mouse Club, not Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Sorry, that's the Disney Channel thing that's finished a couple of years ago. But the reason why I want to draw this is because it's probably the strangest use of Mickey. The strangest kind of proportions that Mickey's had. So we'll start with a circle, even though it's not really based off a circle, this one, but we can base it off a circle and build off this circle. It's like a very strange model. I'm not sure who drew it. It's got a lot of life in it. It looks great, don't get me wrong. They definitely wouldn't use it nowadays or anything like that if someone came up with this design nowadays. But I really like it. It's got a lot of life in it to me, and it's cool. It's really off model. The eyes are slightly to the right of center and things like that. But I love stuff like that. I don't like the whole everything perfect and right kind of thing. I think it just really sucks the life out of stuff. Like a lot of the animation nowadays is written very funny. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of the characters and stuff like that, they're just, because they're done in like Flash animation, Toon Boom, which is like vector programs. They kind of draw the character once, or they'll draw multiple poses for the character. and then they'll kind of use symbols and stuff to replace the mouth, so they're not drawing every single frame of animation, which from a TV point of view is essential because it takes far less time than drawing every aspect of animation. Right, so this is going to be the first kind of iconic front view that we get of Mickey Mouse. There was a few front views of Mickey prior to this, obviously, in the shorts and stuff like that, which that was probably the first iconic front one, but that was just basically a circle with two ears like this, and then but this is kind of coming a bit more into the future. Like, it looks a lot more like the 70s and 80s Mickey, but just slightly off model. Right, so we've got our kind of like waffle thing going on here, and what should we work out first? Let's work out the eyeline. Let's build things from the eyeline. So from this, Mickey's actually let's build the framework around it first. So we're going to come about 2/3 of the way down from this center line like this. We're going to come up and basically touch this edge. Then come round like so. Even wider maybe. It's quite a strange shape. We're coming round, and where we're going to hit, we're going to kind of hit this section here, and maybe just slightly above halfway, like this kind of area. So let's follow this round like so, and the point in which we're going to connect it is around here. So there's going to be quite a sharp angle there. So it's like this kind of shape, and then it's going to come and connect around. All right. So we've got that kind of thing there, which the kind of shape thing that's going on down here is because of the actual muzzle bit like that. So that's going to come there. That's going to be the defining point down here, this muzzle part. Right, so let's do the same at the left-hand side. So we're going up, and we're gonna come slightly short this time of hitting the top. So like I say, these things are off model, which we like. Come round, and then it's gonna kind of, if we've got that quarter here like that, it's just gonna cut through there slightly, I would say. Then it's going to come to about a quarter of the way through this one. So it's going to hit there. Then it's going to drop into this bottom one. And we're actually going to touch the sides around halfway to start that muzzle that will be heading downwards like that. Okay. So that is the kind of shape we've got. So as you can see, it's slightly wonky, whereas that this side is lower than this side, but that's how it is in the picture. And so let's build off the muzzle. So it's going to come out to about this kind of area like this. Then it's actually going to connect down past this circle. So it might make sense for us to build his mouth first. So this point here and further off on this point here, because Mickey's slightly off. This is where we're going to build the mouth from. So if we're looking at this part here, his kind of cheek muscles are going to come like that and cut into it slightly like that. So let's draw that in now, and it's going to come down and nearly touch the circle. In fact, let's touch the circle. Let's make this nice and big. Then, for the first time in a Mickey, and I can't recall seeing since really, there's actually going to be a second muscle there, but on the right hand side there's only going to be one. So let's build that off like that. So we've got these two muscles here. Then at the right hand side, the place in which it's going to hit is probably the halfway point roughly of this section. Like around around that area, I'd say. So it's going to come in, and it's going to nearly touch the bottom of this circle. Okay, so we've got the bottom of this circle, so the smile's going to come and hit around here. Alright, so we just need to join these together. Like that for that half. And it's going to come up at a slightly different angle for this half. That feels about right. So as you can see, it's a bit of a wonky smile. There's a lot more of a stretch here than there is here. This is a shorter place here. So don't worry if it looks like that, because that is how it looks in the actual image. Right, so if this is our center line here coming down like so, then we are going to come from maybe the halfway point in here, and you would think that we're going to hit somewhere like here on the center line. Well, it actually is the bottom point is slightly to the right of the center line. How far it comes down is maybe about here. So let's go and do this. And it's going to be wonky again. So it's going to come and attach about 2/3, maybe nearly 3/4 of the way along this box here. Okay. So as you can see, that is, again, slightly stretched here and slightly shorter here. And then the tongue is going to not really make much sense, because we're coming in at this angle. You would expect the tongue to be at that side, but the tongue's actually going to come in from the other side. And what we're going to do is have a little flick like we used to draw Mickey's tongue, and do the same at this side. Alright, so if we look at this center line here, what we can maybe do is slightly get rid of the elongation just a tad, actually, just thinking about it. So let's come down from here, and let's just make the point slightly to the left, to the right, sorry, of the center line, like that, because that was just feeling a little bit too off to the side. Okay, then let's add this bit in, like so. In fact, we can go a little bit higher with that. We'll go to near actually the circle. So we've got this kind of look, and then coming in, we've got this kind of thing, like so. Now this is going to be all black, like that. So as you can see, it looks quite strange, but that's fine. That's how it is. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come from around here and create a lower lip for Mickey, like so. I'm really enjoying drawing these ones, actually, because they're strange in all the best ways, which I really like. So now all we're going to do is we're going to come down and just try and attach to this around here somewhere. So let's do that. And on the left hand side, it's going to attach slightly lower down, so around here, and it's actually going to come out further. So this one comes out a little bit off here, and whereas this one's going to come like maybe even slightly out from there. It's going to come quite a way off. So it's slanted down, then it comes around to a point which is arcing down at let's say this point here, like 2/3 of the way up from this one. This is where it's gonna hit this outside part. Then it's just gonna come round and connect to just under where we had with the last one, like this. Okay, so as you can see, it looks really wonky. Now we're going to come off this circle, and we're going to attach to, if this is the muzzle, we're going to attach just before, so it's actually coming out slightly. It's not like we're attaching to the actual muzzle, we're going to touch slightly to the right of it. Okay, so all we're going to do is we're just going to follow this round and just arc off slightly and come in and connect about there. It feels about right. Okay, so at the other side we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to come not as far off, we're only going to come about here. So we're really trying to get that wonkiness and really trying to emulate the club, not Clubhouse, Mickey Mouse Club kind of look. Right, so we've got that, and that is feeling about right to me. Could maybe flatten this out a little bit, but it's only very slightly different on the original image. Right, so what we're going to do now is we'll stick in the nose. So it's easier to build the eyes off the nose. So the nose is going to be slightly to the right off center. So the nose is going to be, its center point is probably going to be around here somewhere. And how low it comes down is it's going to come to just into this bottom segment like this. So just going to cut through here, and the height is going to come to just under halfway for this section here. So all we're going to do is the width, maybe if this is a third, we're just going to go past the third slightly. So this is the third of this, so it's just going to come just past the third like that, and then come round. So all we're doing is we're just connecting that oval, and the width is going to come to about 2/3 of this one because it's slightly off center, like so. And then again we need to add that shine on his nose, so let's kind of draw that in. Then let's fill the rest of the nose in. Okay. Alright. So here we have Mickey pretty much. We just need to add in the eyes. And again, this one has eyebrows. So the actual arc, the nose is going to be like this. Then there's an arc above in which the eyes are built off. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of just come maybe 2/3 of the way up this thing. So to about this point, like so. And we're going to add one in here, and we're going to come down and just come off to like this point down here somewhat. It's not going to touch the muscle. And we're going to come to nearly hitting the line on here. Then there is actually another line just in between. So if you can squeeze one in there, like so. There we go. That feels about right. And the eyes, again, are going to be slightly wonky. So they're going to come up to, well, the one on the left, if we're talking about this box here, okay, it's going to come to about like 3/4 or so. It's going to be near the top of here. So we're going to the right hand side of the oval is going to touch right on this center line. Okay, so let's go around like this, and it's going to come in and connect down here to the kind of nose muscle thing, and the actual width is probably going to come to 2/3 or so, like this. Come in and just connect down here like that. So we've got this oval just in like this, and we're going to add in the eyeball, the pupil, sorry, like this, and there is a little highlight on the left hand side of the eye. So there we have it. Now he does have an eyebrow, like I said, so let's just stick that in there. It's a lot more elongated than these ones, which are very short, stubby things. Now it's going to be slightly thicker at the top than it is bottom. Now we're going to have a similar width eye, so it's going to come to nearly this line, and it's going to start just to the right of this line, so it's going to be about this, but it is actually going to come up slightly higher because of the great off-modelness of it. And they're not true ovals really, so say if this is an oval, they're kind of like this, but it's kind of cut off slightly at the top. So what we can do is we can cut that off slightly like that, and we'll do the same. So we'll draw an oval first, like this, come up to pretty much hitting this top bit, then coming round, pretty much hitting here, and then just tucking in. So we've got this kind of thing, but again, we're taking this oval and we're just carving slightly, a little bit off to signify, I'm guessing, the upper eyelid, like so. There we go. Then we just need to add the eyeball in, like this. Just come up and round. Very similar shape to the one on the left. Like this. And what I've learned from drawing this is that Mickey, I love Mickey off model. It's just slightly off model. I really love that. Oh, we've not done the ears either, actually. So we need to come to a roughly center point of here, come up and around like so, and connect all of them in like that. What I'll just do is just alter the edge of this slightly. So it's basically just an arc, and it comes up. It actually maybe doesn't come up quite as high as that one. It's quite level with the one on the left. So let's just bend that in slightly. There we go. So that's kind of Mickey. We need to do his ears. So these ears are huge, and they're not like a oval, really. They're almost, I'm not even sure what shape they are, to be honest. But they're going to come up, if we've got this quarter here, and we come up another quarter again, and then maybe another half of a quarter, like that, like an eighth, I guess you would call it. Well, no, I don't guess, I know that that's what you call it. Right, so that's pretty much as high as it's going to come. And I mean, width, if we're kind of double the size of Mickey's head, which is about there, that's probably the width of Mickey's head added on, then it's not going to come like that far, but it's probably going to come like just over halfway. So they're very big ears. So let's draw this quarter in slightly like this, so you can get a bit of a better look at that. So we're going to come here, and we're going to come up, then we're going to go around, hit this line up here, then we're just going to come down, and whereas it's going to, if this was the halfway point of the original circle, it's going to hit around there. So it's coming in here, and it comes out really wide before it hits, and then comes up to more of a point, hits that fat part, and comes round like that. So this is kind of the shape that we've got going. So as you can see, they're really big, and they're not remotely anything like ovals. Oh well, they are like ovals. Of course, they're like ovals. Let's come down even further like this. That's it. I mean, an oval's the closest you're going to get to the actual shape. Like so. And then we're just going to add the same on the other side. So if we follow this line up, follow this line up, then the height is just going to be very slightly higher. And I wouldn't worry too much about getting the shape of these 100% perfect, because because they are quite a weird shape, and they're quite random in their design. So we're going to come out again, similar distance, maybe even slightly more. So here we go. We're coming up, we're going round, hitting like a point here. Then we're going to come round, and it's going to be hit slightly higher than here, so maybe around here somewhere. Cut into there. Make sure we're definitely cutting into the head a little bit. It's coming round, hitting actually a little bit, just a little bit higher than halfway. It's going out. Let's have a look. Let's just join all these together. That's pretty much the shape that we're looking for, and I appreciate that. It's a very weird shape, but that's pretty accurate. Now you can see that there's more surface area here. I didn't mean that. Here than there is on this one. So let's just colour all this in, and we have our Mickey Mouse. There we go. Right, so you can see that I'm inking this very quickly in front of you. Obviously not real time. This is just me just finishing it off so the thumbnail looks a little nicer, and so you can see what the final finished inked image looks like. So this has been Mickey Mouse throughout the 1950s. He had a rough 1960s because all the feature films that came out during the 60s kind of stole the limelight away from Mickey a little bit. So we'll see what we can find from the 1960s next time. But yeah, let's just carry on having fun with drawing Mickey. And if anyone's followed this along, then send me a copy of it. Like, just find me on Facebook, which is @AceConnell, and same on Twitter, ACECONNELL. The links are in the description, and the links to the other Mickey Mouse, the playlist with all the other Mickey Mouse drawings, are in the description too. So I'll see you next week, where we're going to draw Mickey in the 60s. So have a great, awesome time this week, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.